relationships, but you're wrong. Listen, there's no magic bullet. I'm teaching life skills.
You need sick? You need medicine. It don't always taste good. Nah, but it'll get you better. You need this medicine. It ain't gonna always taste good, but this is what you need. Men and women, bottom line, we need to have the conversation. Your partner wants to give up control, but only if you know how to drive. This is about being the best you could ever be, whoever you are. I don't care if you're a man, a woman, LGBTQ, space aliens. I'll save anybody, I don't care. I'll teach a hedgehog how to have a threesome.
What do you mean by that?
Look, you don't have to listen to me, but you're wrong.
Listen, I know I'm great. And I know you're thinking, Dante, there's no way I could be like you. But you could be me, you know why?
Because you know who I was? Before I was me, I was you.
Man School 202.
Better hear what I've got to say because you won't get it again.
I'm not an alpha male. I'm not a beta male either. I'm just a better man. Well, put your happiness first, because if you don't, they won't.
Yo. What up? What's going on, people? Just trying to get everybody in. Welcome Thursday. I apologize for not being more consistent, but we gonna fix that. Before we start, I would like it if anybody who's in the anybody in the comments right now, anybody in the Anthony or Lewis, what up? Do me a favor, somebody call in on the number. I'm checking the lines. Let me just check the lines real quick before we get into it. Anybody who's out there who's listening, just call in. I just want to make sure they can hear me. If that number doesn't work, we will try something else. There's also the web calling. Call in at 929-269-4922. All right, let's see. If y'all can hear me good, holla at me. Holla at your boy. Let me see. Hold on. Let me just check the lines before we get. Let me just. Hold on. It's not coming up here. Let's see. Just give me, everybody's coming in slow. Let me see if I can make sure the calls are working. Shit. Something happened with the. Okay, hold on. Hello. Let's see. Hello?
Hi.
Hey. Kim, this you? Can you count down from 10? I just want to hear if anybody has if they can hear you outside. Count down from 10. Everybody in the comment, if you please, anybody who's in the comment section, if you hear Kim, count down.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now count up. Anybody in the comment, make sure y'all can hear the caller side.
1,
I know y'all can
2,
hear my side, but if you can hear
3,
the other side,
4.
Yeah, you can hear.
5,
can you hear her? Please give me
6,
a thumbs up if you can hear her. Counting.
7, 8,
Okay.
9,
Thank you.
10.
Thank you, Kim. You're the best.
Huh?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, so the Google number's working. Also, I have this. If you look to my right or my left, your left, whatever. If you want to go in on the web browser, you can call me in on the web browser. If you're on a laptop or something, just you can just scan that code, or you can just call me in on the Google number. How's everybody doing? What's going on? Trying to be on time, y'all. I know we was running a little late, but I've been working on the technical, so all the numbers. So we actually have 3 options of number. So we will not have this problem anymore where y'all can't call in when you want to. Just keep in mind, I'm counting on you guys in the comment to make sure that y'all can hear and that you can hear the people. If not, let me go through the comments, shout anybody else that's in the comments. Anthony, what's going on? Luis, thank you for coming in so early. DJ, Countess, what's going on? Jers Warner. Jers Warner, type that out phonetically so I'm not making it. Diogenes Bean. What up? Craig Beats in the building. What's going on with my lights? It's just freaking out now. I don't know how they got all loud and light. Y'all hear me good? Let's see. Countess in here. So we in here. Let's get it. We can do a hot hour, maybe an hour and 20, and we are out here. So anybody got anything they want to talk about? Make sure y'all call in because I'm shutting it down when I got to shut it down. We will be going consistently unless I'm out of town. Thursdays we will be going live. And I'll be posting it on the YouTube page just to make sure everybody's knows what's going on from now on. I really want to start being super consistent with that. Big shout to Basie. Sent me $5 on the Cash App. That's the way to start it out, y'all. Y'all see the Cash App is on the right. Also, if you look at the bottom, the Cash App is $ Dante Nero, or the PayPal is at Modest Guru. The QR code is to the right, or y'all know how to get me. Glad that everybody's coming. I'm trying to kill a little time so we fill up the live, so everybody has time to get in on the live. Don't forget web calls on the top left corner. Log in on the browser at callme.rode.com and put that QSQLJW. Or y'all know what it is. Y'all can call me at 929-269-4922. Don't forget the Patreon. Patreon's super important because like we did on Tuesday, we actually somebody had put a question in on Patreon, and we did a whole show on his question. So if y'all want access like that, go to patreon.com/manschool202. For the bonus content, you get all of the back issues and the new content, constant new content. And the Patreon people are like sort of the backbone. So anybody that's live, please sign up for the Patreon so we can keep moving that. And we're doing shows on anything, and the Patreon people are actually controlling the direction of the Patreon. Also, don't forget, y'all know what it is. The Cash App is up. If you help you or you got a question and you feel like supporting, you want to support the show, you know what it is. Also, real quick, Don't forget the one-on-one consultations. If y'all have something personal and something that's involved that I can't resolve it on the live, go to DanteNero.com, click on consult. Y'all know how to get me. Man, I just saw, I had a rough morning. I just saw this, I just watched the documentary on the Katrina documentary on Netflix. Was rough. It's kind of rough, man. And I realized a lot of times, one of the things that it made me think about when you don't have knowledge of something, it's really hard to be empathetic of what other people are going through. So a lot of times I think it's just a situation where a lot of times we get angry or we feel disappointed in people because there are certain things that they are unable to respond to us in a way that we want them to respond to us. Okay, so for instance, be a particular situation where you are in a relationship you have these expectations about what you want out of this relationship, what you've given, what you and a lot of times the giving is really easy to do, especially when you're in love or when the relationship is new. But the perception that how should I put this? The perception that somebody is going to understand what you expect in return is difficult at times. We are getting. I'm really happy because more and more we're getting more and more women on in listening to the show, because I think that's important too. As a whole, I don't know, maybe it's genetic or something else, but as a whole, women will ask for direction. It's almost like they don't find it. I think they don't find it. Well, they're not looking for. Well, let me put it the other way. I feel like men feel as though when they ask questions, they feel emasculated because they're asking questions. But because men as a whole, there's so many things that you are just expected to do. Now, let me say this to the ladies in the that are in the chat and on the live. Understand this, that this is the kind of pressure that men go through on a day-to-day basis. It's, am I man enough? Am I good enough? Am I a good enough partner? And I know sometimes it doesn't seem that way because men will check out or not make the effort but you got to understand what happens is that usually comes from frustration. And on the internet, I think there's this preoccupation with the fact that men and women at odds. And what's interesting is I think this internet and social media presents men and women relationships in a way that are adversarial. Meantime, the population hasn't decreased not one iota. So somebody's out there smashing, I guess is what my point is. And babies are being born and people are hooking up. And I understand that, people will, a lot of times you'll find, red pill dudes who will be like, well, there's way more divorces and there's this and that. Well, that has a lot to do with the fact that women have autonomy that they didn't have before. Big shout out to Xavier Karina. Thank you, man, for the $10. You always on point, bro. You always match the credibility of your words. I ain't gonna front. I really appreciate you. But all right, we got a call. Let's get into it. Let's hope. When I bring this call in, everybody, just please give me a thumbs up that you can hear the caller. What's up? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, my name's Jake, and I'm from California.
What's going on, Jake? How are you, man? Just real quick, I just want to, if Count backwards, Jake, real quick from 10.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Three,
Anybody in the comment, just make sure that y'all can hear Jake, please. Give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear Jake. Anybody, please? I'm watching the comments right now. All right, cool, great. Jake, how can I help you, man? And thank you for that. Thank you for that help out. You're my tech guy for the day. All right.
Yeah, no problem. I just want to say I'm a very big fan of Man School 202 and your work with Patrice O'Neal on the Black Phillip Show.
Oh, thanks, man. Now, Jake, have you been on the live before? I mean, or have you listened to the lives before?
I have. You know what? I discovered your show about a few months ago, but I've watched about maybe 20, 25 episodes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I've never called in, so.
Okay, yeah, because I don't ever remember your voice, so I usually remember the people call in, but I appreciate that. Do you have anything I can help you with, Jay? Big shout to my man Bruce in the comments too. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes. So I was watching an old Black Phillip show, and I remember Patrice mentioned about being a quote unquote a smooth asshole. Okay. And when I listen to that, and I think to myself, oh, does he mean kind of being like playful banter, playful teasing? Is that what he's trying to get at?
Okay, so let me. I always got to tiptoe through this when we talk about Black Phillip, and one of the reasons why I feel like I have to tiptoe it because I don't want to. I understand that this whole movement. I mean, in fact, I would be. I mean, I don't know if you listen. How old are you, Jake?
22.
Okay, so you were not around when we were doing.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, so I don't know if people understand the origins of this whole thing, but I believe that, in my opinion, I think the whole red pill thing, all the red pill guys and all this stuff, I think it started with Black Phillip. So, I mean, we were doing Black Phillip in 2000, from 2006 to 2008. At that time, there was no red pill at all. I mean, there was Lycus. There was this guy, Lycus, who was doing something similar, but nothing quite the way we were doing it. So, but let's keep it in perspective. It's 2006. It's 2025, right? We're literally talking about 20 years later, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of concepts that we started thinking about. I mean, not only that, but I mean, when I think back, you
were 33, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm 59 now, so whatever the math is for that, 20 years ago, so I was 39, right?
Oh, wow.
So, and Patrice was a few years younger than me. I believe Patrice was 3 years or 4 years old, so he was probably 35. So, and I think that what our intention was, we had this kind of dilemma. We wanted to talk about it. It bothered us, and we were presenting what these problems are. Right now, since then, 20 years later, oh my God, I can't tell you how many lessons I've learned, and some of the stuff that we were even talking about and when it came to Black Phillip was I believe at the core the core principles were in place, but I also think there's a lot of stuff in that I would absolutely push against and even say that we got wrong, you know?
But Dante, just really quick to interject, an example of how I interpreted Patrice's words were a year ago, 2 years ago, I was working at a fast food joint, right? Mm-hmm. And I saw this girl, and she came in wearing all green dress, green bracelet, green shoes.
Right, she's put together.
As a joke, I was just like, wow, you're ready for St. Patrick's Day. Right. And she laughed, right? And I'm like, okay, is this what Patrice kind of meant? Just light, playful, teasing, nothing too over the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's something to that, but you got to understand, I had watched Patrice talk to women in a way where he was an asshole, a entire asshole, where he really rubbed girls the wrong way, and then he would get them, and then he would he would get them angry and arguing with him, and then he would kind of apologize
He would
and he would flip it. But the point is, I just don't think you need to do that. And one of the reasons, I'm not saying that you can't do that. Sure, that's a technique. But I think that also goes to a level of dishonesty, right? Now, the fact that this woman was so dressed in green, right? And you made a comment about it, right? It wasn't an insult. You weren't really being but what you did do is you recognized that there was something distinctly different about her attire, right?
Right.
So one of the things, I don't know if you said you've listened to a lot of stuff. A lot of times I talk about I talk about. Hold on one second. Somebody's calling me. Yo, Siddiqui, I'm live. Let me hit you back. All right. No. So.
Are you talking about Ace?
Yeah, when you were talking about Ace, I mean, I think that there are there are situations where we absolutely, I think I've broken it down to the principles why that works. Okay, and it's not because you're being an asshole. It's not because you're being confrontational. Yes, those things work as well. But what I think really happens is, let's say that this woman got up that morning and she was she's dressing herself in the morning, right?
Right.
Think about the effort that it took her to have all of this green matched up, right? Like this definitely was not by accident, right? So what you're recognizing is the fact that you're commenting on it. Like, it's not even that that you. So when I talk about laying the 5 bricks and I say you got to give 5 compliments every day, right? To 5 different women. They have to be honest, but they also need to be non-sexual. So even you know, like if you're like Patrice used to shit on girls for whatever they did, and then he would flip it, right? It's just really not necessary to do that, and I'll tell you why. This woman put in effort to match all her stuff up, right? You commented on it, right? Now you may have been kind of like trying to do what you think Patrice does, but the reality is she didn't take offense to it. She all she really did was she noticed that you acknowledged the effort that she put in to match everything up, right?
Yeah, what ended up happening was she just laughed, and then we kind of had like a short 1 to 2 minute conversation, and then just kind of kept it pushing. Okay.
All right. So, but my point is, you know, Patrice would say something nasty, and then they would respond, and then he'd flip. It's just really, yes. I'm not saying that didn't work, or I've seen it work. I've seen it work 100 times. I'm just saying it's just not necessary. You don't have to be an asshole. What really opens them up, because what you're doing is you're putting them in a situation. Is you're putting how should I put this? You're acknowledging effort, if that makes sense. So you're acknowledging the fact that she spent some time working on her outfit, really, and because you're acknowledging that, it resonates with her, you know, and so because it resonates with her, that's why she's responding to you. It's not because you're because what we're talking about when you're talking about that is negging, right? That's what, you know, pickup artists call negging. It's like bringing a girl's self-esteem down. And I'm not saying that those techniques don't work. I'm just saying that they're just not necessary. The simple fact that you're recognizing something very detailed and specific, and you're not talking about how fat her ass is or how big her titties is. What you're really saying is, hey, I see that you made an effort, right? And if you think about anything that you've worked on to any extent, right? what we if you're doing push-ups every day and somebody says, "Wow, man, you've been working out," there's a level of instant I guess there's a level of instant acknowledgement of the fact that you see me, right? So think about the social media in general. Social media is something that women and men are like, they get on for some level of validation, right? But everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be. So the simple fact that you acknowledged what she did, right, or that she made an effort is the thing that bridged the gap where you could communicate with her. You understand? So yes,
got it.
The negativity, the negging thing works, but it's just not necessary. It doesn't make anything any more powerful than it's not a more powerful way to do that. So when you're saying you're being a smooth asshole,
got it. So like from now on, should I just kind of I guess play it straight and just be like, oh, I like your dress, instead of kind of saying like whatever dumb joke or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me if it is. I mean, I'm just saying you don't have to neg them to do that. You just have to acknowledge it, and when you acknowledge these specific things, right? These specific, something very specific, like the fact that she's dressed up in all green, her bracelets, her hair bun, and everything else, and you're acknowledging it. You're just saying, "Hey, I see you. I'm acknowledging the fact that you put time and effort into your outfit." And think about how many times when she left the house, right? How many people she walked by that didn't acknowledge it, and the fact that you acknowledge it, I mean, there's no denying that you acknowledged it, because you couldn't have made the comment if the comment wasn't honest, wasn't authentic, wasn't genuine,
Got it.
And so that's really, so that instantly puts her in a situation where the communication between her becomes non-transactional. And that is what's really important. That you can talk to a woman, because any woman that a guy talks to her, right? What is the first? What is the first thing she thinks?
Oh, this guy is trying to get with me.
Right, he's trying to get some ass, right? And so now I got to put up my barrier, because if I don't put up my barrier, then what happened? Then I'm in a situation where now I got this, So that right off the jump. But when you're complimenting on something specific, what you're doing is she's taking a compliment that's genuine,
Okay.
Back in the days when I was stripping, right? And I mean, I would do shows like every weekend for 800, 1,000 women, 1,500 women, 600, and I would do it multiple times a night, right? I really worked on my costumes. Like, I made my own costumes. I used to dance in front of a mirror and just work my moves and everything for like an hour every day, right?
Yeah, everything was choreographed.
Yes, everything was put together, so there was no awkward transitions. I knew what I was doing. So when a woman was looking at my G-string and going, "Is that all you?" That never moved me, When she looked at the way I moved, right? The fact that, man, I love the way you dance. So I was like a little schoolgirl. I was like, really? Because the effort that I put in was on these other things, I didn't want to, even then, you don't realize it, but even as a man, you can be reduced to an object where you start to feel uncomfortable about it, And so what you're really doing is you're going by saying, wow, are you really ready for St. Patrick's Day?
St. Patrick's Day.
Right? What you're saying is, I see you. I see that you have coordinated yourself. I see that you put this together. I see that you put in effort. You are seen. And because of that, that instantly changes her defenses instantly drop. Okay, this is a guy who pays attention. Because think about how she put this goofy green outfit on, and how many people she walked by and nobody said anything.
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, this was wasted time and effort," Because
I guess I would say.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say, like, I guess the reason I try to come out with like these little like unorthodox, I guess, little conversation openers is because I feel like maybe sometimes just saying like, "Hey, nice dress," I feel like that's just too linear. You know what I mean?
Well, here's an interesting thing about that. When I'm doing consultations with somebody, right, and I'm putting them through the system that I put together, right. The first stage is just to get you to say, "Oh, I love your outfit," you know. But the second stage is to make that interaction very specific and unique, right? Because, but the reason why we start out with just, "Oh, I love your outfit," right? Because guaranteed, I mean, you know, if you got a woman and she's dressed in green from top to bottom and everything matches, you going, I love your outfit. It's almost inferred the fact that she's got all this green on, you know. But yes, it is more creative to say, "Wow, you're ready for St. Patrick's Day," which is still not a dig. You're not being an asshole, but you're just acknowledging it, and it's very specific. And so she goes, "Oh wow, not only does this guy recognize that I put effort in this, but he actually, I'm being seen," you know? And that makes a distinct, the connection is much deeper. She goes, like, for instance, if, I remember talking to this girl, I was on Madison Avenue, and this girl, I know women's shoes, right? And I was like, "I'm loving those Manolo Blancs," right? And she was surprised that I would even know the brand of the shoe, right? But it instantly got her attention because there's always a subtext when you're talking. And the subtext is, "Oh, wow, this guy who maybe looks like a meathead, right, has an interest in finer things. Like how would anybody look at me and think that I would know the difference between a Manolo Blanc and a Chris Louboutin, you know?"
Yeah, it shows a bit of character. Yeah,
it shows depth. It also so like ultimately what you're doing is you're communicating different messages in the comments. So I'm saying, "Hey, I see you. I'm acknowledging you. I like what I see." And not only that, but this is why I like what I see. But those Manolo Blancs are amazing, right? And then that gives you a platform where you like what you're saying is just where you're trying to come up with something different, right? What you're trying to do is to not sink back into the gray, into the crowd. You want to stand out because, every woman that is remotely attractive has guys who are hitting on her. Even it's funny. I was watching this guy on Instagram where he hits on crackheads. And he'd be like, "Oh, look at you with your little sneakers on. Look, you smoking a little crack. Like, come in, oh yeah, that's what I like." And you be crackheads be having like missing teeth, and they be like, they be laughing and giggling, because they want to be seen. And the fact that he's saying something really specific, you know, they get seen and they feel. So it's just, that is part of the human nature, is that people want to be seen, you know?
All right. So as long as you acknowledge that, you know, in any way, shape, or form, then that's fine. And
the more specific and the more creative you do it is always better. Because if you can do it creatively, what are you saying? You're going, "I am a creative person."
Yeah.
So there's multiple things happening.
Like for example, like I've seen some of Patrice's specials. I've seen some of your stand-up on YouTube. Yeah. So I guess I kind of approach it through like a comedic mentality. Like, okay, instead of just saying like, "Hey, I like your shoes," just throw like a little hook in there to kind of
I mean, the specifics is always, that is exactly, if we were doing consultations, once you have mastered and gotten through all the, the fear and the, the anxiety and the other things, and the next step is it's sort of my wax on, wax off, and as you become, what I've broken it down into small, simple steps so that you don't ever feel overwhelmed. So no matter how much experience you do or don't have, it doesn't matter, because I break it down into such little small pieces where we do the first thing and you just keep doing it until it becomes natural. It becomes almost muscle memory, right? And then I add one element, but I don't ever, like, if you read like The Game or the books like The Game or Mysteries book or whatever. I mean, they're like, you move the woman from point A to point B, and you bounce to this, and then you go to another. It's like they complicate it in a point where you're worrying about so much that you don't do anything right. Right? And then none of it works. And what I'm trying to do is not teach you a trick to do it. I'm trying to teach you to be that person that is more social. And the only way that you can be more social is you got to talk to people.
Okay.
And here's the other thing that I found out. And this is what I mean by how what I'm talking about now has evolved so much further. Like, one of the things that I say, I always kind of discourage people from listening to Black Phillip if you can't listen to it for entertainment, because there's so much stuff that we were talking about that I just don't agree with anymore, right? Not only that, but it goes against some of the principles that we talk about today. Like, let me see if I can give, for instance.
Like, do you mean like anger, like never let anger have a seat at the table?
Yes,
like that, stuff like that?
Yes, that was, and I mean, Patrice used to let emotionally, he would call a chick a stinking ass bitch all the time, I would just say, I would say, like, I am just completely, like, amazed by how, like, just through sheer brute force he would get, like, when, whatever he wanted, which kind of, like, amazes me, but I just know that I could never. That's not true, because a lot of times he didn't, and one of the reasons why he didn't was because his harsh demeanor instantly turned the girl off and sent her packing. So there's a certain kind of chick that he would get. So even when we used to talk about, like, women, they come in 3 categories. It's like deers, bunnies, and bears, right?
Yes.
Patrice was great at pulling a bear. A chick that was like, rah, 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 you ain't gonna, rah, rah, rah. That was his, I mean, that technique. But if he got a bunny, he'd say something harsh to some little cute girl that's never, that can't take it, and then she'd cry,
Yeah, okay.
And so but here's the other thing I find. Even that classification where we should put women in these categories, I think that even that was a mistake. Because a woman is a reflection of the guy she's sleeping with, the guy that she's dealing with. So you can have, you can literally do something with like if a woman is a reflection of the guy that you're with, then how can we classify them in anything that in any particular way when they are responding from you?
So even the whole bears, bunnies, the deer, even bullshit. That's outdated by modern standards.
Well, okay. So here's the first thing. First thing is this: if you're super soft, right? So I used to tell this story. I don't know if you ever heard it. I'm sorry, but I'll repeat it again. Guy I know that I helped him get his wife, right? I actually threatened him that he had better go talk to the girl. Otherwise, this is when I was in the phone company. It was my partner. He had this cute little Dominican girl that worked in this Dominican spot. She barely spoke English, and I could tell that he liked her. And I said, "Look, you gotta go in and talk to her." And a couple of guys from that he co-workers had mentioned him to her, and so they had primed it. And then the next day we went to this breakfast spot, and I was like, "You got to ask her out today." And he was like, and I said, "Now go in there and ask her out," right? So he went in, and she was busy, and he got scared, and he left, right? And I go, "Did you get the number?" And he goes, "No." And I go, "What happened?" And she goes, he goes, she was busy, and she didn't have time to talk." And I said, "Look, you got to go in there and get the number." And he was like, No, I'll do it next time." And I said to him, "You could either go in and get the number, or you could stay in the truck and fight me. And he said, well, you're bugging. I was like, no, I'm just saying if you stay in this truck, I'm gonna smack you in your mouth. He was like, come on, man. I just, she's big. I go, I'm telling you. And one of the reasons why it was so imperative that he went and talked to the girl in that moment was because of the fact that somebody had already said, oh, my friend likes you, such and such. And so now if he goes in and she sees him and he doesn't respond to it, right, she could take that as rejection. And then he could lose his opportunity because she'd be like, oh, maybe he changed his mind. He doesn't really like me. Because you got to understand, women are very insecure about how people respond, So if you've opened the door, you need to follow through, because if you don't follow through, then she a lot of times women will take that, especially attractive women, will take that personally. Oh, you didn't really like me the way you da-da-da-da-da-da, because they are very insecure. So there's that. So anyway, he got the girl's number, right? He took her. He was like, "I'd like to take you out." She could barely speak English, and he was Spanish, but he couldn't speak a lot of Spanish. And so she was like, "Tonight?" Right? She was like, "Game," And he was like, "Oh, not tonight. I mean, on Friday I get paid, and then we can go out." So he took her out, and they went out, and they had, he did all of this stuff, right? And their first argument, I always remember this. They ended up, dating, and the first argument they had was, he went to wash his own dish, right?
Oh, okay. I remember the story now.
Okay. And then she was like, you don't think I'm woman enough? Because, her culture in the Dominican world, you're supposed to take care of your man, right? And if you're not taking care of your man, there's something wrong with you. It's a blemish on your womanhood, right? Now, the story goes as 5 years later, she's telling him to fuck off. The mother is living with him. Her mother, his mother-in-law. He's married. He's got a kid. She's cursing him out. It went from don't wash my plate, you better not ever wash your own plate, to fuck you, I don't respect you at all. So I watched in the course of things. I've watched women who were very sweet and very demure and turn into tyrants because of the fact that they were abused, or the guy was such a pussy that they allowed it, and they pushed back, and the guy never created the boundaries, and so it just went left,
But would you say, I know, just to bring up Black Phillip again, but Patrice always stressed that it was always the man's fault for the outcome. Does that still hold weight today?
Because it's a reflection of you. So that part of it, I agree with that. But you know what I'm saying? But we're talking about two other principles. The fact that we categorize them in three areas. The fact that you needed to, make a girl mad in order to get her to like this just was stuff that. But that's because we didn't really understand why it worked in the first place. And the other thing is this. This was all pre-Me Too movement, right? So a lot of guys who were doing pickup artist stuff, right? They were doing pickup artist stuff. They were also going, they were fooling women into sleeping with them, And here's the difference: you could have a situation where you hook up with a girl, it was consensual, right? And then 2 days later, she decides she was uncomfortable about this and that she felt coerced, or she was pushed. She
finds out you're not the guy you claim to be. Yeah.
Right. And now, because she has buyer's remorse, now you assaulted her. I mean, if you want to read something crazy, if you get a check, I don't know if you heard of God, what's the Indian comic that he got canceled with the Me Too pro. He was on Parks and Recreation.
What you're saying? Some comic, something happened.
Yeah. So he had a girl, brought the girl home. She was a fan. He brought her home. they making out on the couch, and then she blew him on the couch, and then they went into the kitchen, and then she tried to, like she blew him in the kitchen too. Never once did she say, this is not what I want to do. Like, if somebody blows you and then they blow you twice, yeah, but after the fact, she said it was awkward, and that he was God, what is this guy's name? Anybody can in the chat, Aziz. That's what it was. Aziz Ansari. Google his story, and he literally was in a situation where he texted her the next day and was like, I had a really great time, I'd love to see you again. Like, he was into her. And she went to the papers and was like, look, this guy, he was putting his fingers in my mouth and I didn't like it. And never once did she say that. And then he literally got canceled because of it. So there's a different situation where women they couldn't speak up before, and now they can. And so you don't want a woman to be, you don't want him to be, you don't want to be in a situation where a woman has buyer's remorse. So if you misrepresent who you are just to get the drawers, that could be a problem for you, That could be a real problem, which that was not the climate in 2006 when we were doing the show,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the way it was. But when I was in college, man, I was in college in 80, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, right? And man, we bought wine coolers. The girls and us, we got drunk, and that's how you got laid. Anybody that tells you that that's not the way it was, they're lying. Not only that, but it gave the woman plausible deniability, so she didn't have to feel like a slut, because she could say, oh, we were drinking and one thing led to the, this was just common knowledge. Whereas, for the most part, women have gotten to the point where women are, where it's literally where they can go and, they can tell you to say yes and then later say, I didn't mean it, or I changed my mind, and now you got a problem because she says that you took advantage of her, So
yeah, so the lesson of all this is just to be truthful and honest and follow Ace.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Because, don't get me wrong, she can still lie about it, but when you're honest and you're authentic, everybody around you will vouch for you. If a chick said, it's funny, I don't know if you, but we had we used to have a girl that was on Beige Phillip when I used to call the show Beige Phillip. Mara Merrick was on the show, and I fired her because she, was disrespectful and hung up the phone on me and, was wilding out, whatever. And I fired her, right? And she went around and told everybody I fired her because she wouldn't fuck me.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you something. What's crazy is everybody fucked her. Like, I could rattle off 8 comics that I know that ran through her absolutely at will, So the point was, but my reputation was such that nobody would even believe that I would take some pussy.
So then, wait a minute. So then, this kind of makes me think, like, you could do everything right, follow Ace and everything, but, if you get with someone like that who's ultimately going to lie on you no matter what, it really kind of, like, tells you, like, oh, wow. Like, you have to be really careful out here, I guess. Well, absolutely. But I will say this, though. But this is why when you see a pretty girl and you go, oh, she's attractive, I'm willing to give everything up for this chick. So a lot of times we put women on a pedestal, right? Because why? Right. Because she's very attractive, But we're not thinking about is, I've always used this. I go, what happens if she takes the panties off and she's got a horrible infection and it smells like a fish market, right? Then no matter whether she's a 10, right?
if she, I don't care if she's Megan Fox, and you're gonna be like, she's not, she's not a 10 no more, But
Right.
what we do is we prerequisitely, oh, she's attractive, I want to have sex with her, so she's a 10. And what we're not looking at is all these other factors that are just as present that would maybe not make her the one that you would even give your time to. But if all you are is thinking with your dick, you're gonna go down that road, and you're gonna risk everything that you've achieved and everything that you've earned because this woman is attractive, which is something that she didn't even earn. Especially if she's young,
Yeah, okay.
She just was born attractive. What if she's into identity theft? You let her in her house, you go to take a shower, and she goes through your wallet, gets your license, and then steals your identity and takes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's so many things that could happen. But as a guy, what we do is, she got a fat ass, some big titties, she's pretty, I'm in. I will do anything to get that. When you really are not going, well, is this person worth my time or energy? Now, when you get older, and you start to realize that just because it's looks alone doesn't give you, you start going, is this chick even worth my time? Or you start, if you start, well, somebody said if Selma Hayek smells like fish, she's still a 10. Maybe a 9.5, guys. But my point is, you have value. Not only that, but the value that you have, your value is directly related to your ability to provide, what you have achieved, your character, what you have achieved, the work that you've done, the money that you've earned, the character that you've developed, how other people respect you. All of those things are the things that make you attractive. And a lot of times we are willing to give all of that up for nothing because she got a fat ass. Until the hammer drops and you end up in a fucked up situation. I mean, literally, Aziz Ansari was on multiple movies. He was doing movie after movie. He had a successful sitcom called Parks and Recreation, and his career was at a standstill afterwards.
So then the lesson is just to be aware of who you choose to let in your life. I'm assuming,
absolutely,
right?
But you're also, what you're talking about is you need to be the best version. I don't know if I say that enough. You also need to be the best version of yourself. But if you're working to be the best version of yourself, understand that you have value. And everybody doesn't deserve access to you once you have achieved some level of value. Okay?
Got it. One last question before I take off.
Sure.
About the consultations, the prices, like, for example, if I was to book an hour session, would the price double if we went like over an hour, like at 61 minutes, or how does it work?
I don't, look, you'll be fine. If you book a session, you'll be fine. I want to get paid for my time, but understand this, I don't, I've had situations where, there was something I needed to get out, something that you needed to hear, and I take I take the time on the arm. You know what I mean? But
got it.
But my point is also, I also had a guy who I had helped him through he was in a marriage where this woman, he had him moved and stuff, and then he kind of called me out because I went up on the prices. And I was like, I go, do you know how many times I went over, the amount that you paid for? And never once, and I didn't even mind that. The problem was he tried to call me out he tried to call me out on the live. He tried to call me, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm not." But he was like, "What kind of?" I think he was like, "How is that credible if you, how is that credible if you're in and you said, but the reason why I went up on the prices was because he was taking advantage." And I was like, yeah, okay, well, I'm not going to fight with you. Because never, as many times as I gave him extra time, I said, let me ask you something. I said, have you ever, in all the times that I gave you extra time, did you ever say, hey, man, what's your cash app? Let me throw you a little something extra. Not once did he do that, right? And I mean, we went over time. One, it was actually the thing that I got stricter with the time was because of him.
He ruined it for everybody.
Yeah, because I would, like if we were in the thick of something, I would just, whatever. But he never once fucking said, hey, man, one time we went over 48 minutes. He booked an hour and we went over 48 minutes. Actually, I don't even think we booked an hour. I think he booked a half hour and then we went over like 48 minutes over that. And
that's wild. That's wild.
And then and never once said, yo, what's your, now I have guys who I go over and they go, yo, what's your cash app? But what we don't understand is here's the great thing about Ace, right? Tell me going over the time, right? And you going, man, I realize I went over time. Let me send you some money, right? Or whatever. That is what? That is part of Ace, right?
Right.
Now, here's the crazy thing about this. You can practice Ace or not. But if you don't practice Ace, see, being the credible dude, like if I ask you this, how many guys do you know are authentic, keep their word, and are empathetic in your lifetime?
Jesus.
Like if you had to name, count them up, how many people would you say practice those things to the extreme extent, 100%, 10 toes down? You don't even have to answer. The simple fact that you're taking this long to answer means that you're searching your Rolodex, trying to figure out who would even fit in that. So what I'm saying is if you understand basic business fundamentals, right, supply and demand, the scarcity of something makes something more valuable, right?
Right.
So if you're a righteous dude who tells the truth, who's credible and has empathy, do you understand that the women will perceive that in the same way as somebody like you're rare, so that you have more value. And because you have more value and you're aware of the value and aware of the fact that people recognize your value, what does that do? That's where the confidence comes from. So I don't care if the chick she's a supermodel. So what? She's got 100 guys who want to fuck her or trying to fuck her who are dirtbags. And you're not. Now, don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean that just because somebody's not smart enough to know what your value is, doesn't diminish your value. But sometimes people are just they're not smart enough or have the emotional acuity to even accept the gifts that you have to give. So this chick might not be with you, but if you practice Ace, you will have competent, kind women, and you'll be able to live your life in the context of what you perceive as happiness, but you have to follow these principles. So what I'm saying is, if you're taking advantage of me, right? And we did maybe 18 calls. I don't ever remember me cutting him off, right at the time, Mm-hmm. But he never said, let me throw you something extra. And then he called me, and I didn't even change it. I didn't even I didn't even go, yo, I'm not doing this no more, until he tried to call me out on the live. I mean, everybody in the chat put up a 1 if you remember the dude trying to call me out. The thing was, I was like, have you ever tried to compensate me for all the extra time you gave me? He goes, no, but you said that I was going to be grandfathered in on the old price. I go, yeah, but you're not grandfathered in on the old price because you're disrespectful. And I go, I'm not mad at you. It's not for me to put, like I said, but I'm practicing the principles. I'm not mad at you. I'm just changing the prices.
It's just business. Yeah.
So you're a guy who I can't trust. So therefore, you're gonna have to pay. And at the end of this, I need to adjust, and I need to, when it's time to cut off, I cut them off. You know, so
Right.
and when you're not following it, when you're not credible, when you're listening to the live, and people are asking me questions, this is why you get somebody like Xavier, my boy Xavier, always hits me on the Cash App, because he knows that this show has given him value. So because he knows it's, I mean, I'm not forcing him, but he's going, this is giving me value, therefore here's a $5 or here's a whatever the fuck he hits me up. And I mean, there's times when he's hit me with $50. Just one of the guys, and there's a lot of guys like Theo and guys who always hit me on the Cash App. But it's like, if you're getting value from this and you're not giving back, right, to support it, then you're not credible. I get it that you may not have it now and might change or whatever the fuck, but I also understand that if you're just taking and you're not giving nothing back, because I really give a fuck, you know?
Yeah.
And anybody in the comment will tell you I give a fuck. You know, I mean, we've been talking, I don't know how long we've been on. I mean, you on your cell phone, you tell me how long we've been talking.
We're at 46 minutes.
Okay, so do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, but understand, not following these principles, it is the scaffolding that everything is built. So when you're not credible on any level, right? Not supporting the show, not this, not that. Yeah, if I give you extra time, you don't look. Yeah, I'm fine with it, because what's going to happen is it will all fall apart. Because you'll know that you're not credible, right? And then you'll lose your confidence. And then when you're talking to that next bad chick, you're like, oh, I ain't shit. And you'll be right. Because what makes you dope is what you do, not what you are. And that's the same thing for women. This is why they respond to honest compliments, because they don't want to just be objectified. They know that they're pretty. Every guy a pretty girl, every guy that's ever met them have told them that they're pretty.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the other compliments that matter. Okay?
Got it. Well, you know what, Dante, thank you. Thank you for taking my call, and thank you for your time.
Of course, man. Appreciate it. Stay on board, man. I'm going to be going, I usually go live Sundays, Tuesday, and Thursday. Okay?
Got it. Thank you, Dante.
All right. And hit the subscribe and the like, and make sure you hit the bell on the YouTube, so when we do go live, you get notified, okay?
You bet.
All right, brother. Later. Phone lines open, 929-269. I saw a couple of people were trying to get in through, but, you know, I had to take care of who I had to take, so call back in. It is a dope.
Memo.
Call from
Memo.
Memo, what's going on,
to
baby?
accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Memo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me
Yeah,
put
doing
you.
all right.
What, did you just call or did I click over? Anyway, it doesn't matter, man. What's your name?
My name is Memo.
Memo, what's going on? How
Like
can I
Memo
help you,
Grab.
bro?
Well, my question is simple. I wanted to ask you, because from my understanding, you are a former male exotic dancer.
Yeah.
And me, myself, I like to work out. And I got to the point where I want. And I do have some understanding about human interactions and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, once women select you, how do you go about asking them, for what it is that you want? See, because my problem is not social anxiety. I don't have a problem approaching, having conversations, but I guess I'm wondering how you go. Like, is there a specific blueprint? Is there a code that you have to follow to get them where you want them?
Okay, let me ask you this: you don't have any social anxiety talking to me, do you? Right now?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so here's my thing. Do you understand that even when you ask the question, do you understand how broken and unclear you asking the question that you just asked me?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so if you have no social anxiety talking to me, and you're talking to me in this relaxed way, and you're not clear and concise about how to express yourself in a way, then imagine a situation where there's a girl that you like or a girl that you find attractive. It's really going to be shit. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do understand what you mean.
So what I'm saying,
but,
just from
I think that
wait, let me finish. Just from talking to you and listening to you ask the question, it's just something you're not good at. Here's what I'm saying, and I don't mean that as a knock to you. I'm just saying that it is something that you have to learn to do. It's not a skill that you can't learn, but it's a skill that it is a skill that you have to learn. Nobody expects you to be, a great, don't get me wrong. I mean, there are people that have a knack for it, but even the people that have a knack for it are kids that were usually very talkative when they were young and confident and so on and so forth. And, everything that we do well is because in some way in our experiences have made us feel comfortable about it. So it's a skill that you have to learn. This is why I go, the consultations are important, because when you do the consultation, that's what I teach you. I teach you how to speak, where you're making the mistakes, and I break it down into very small increments so that you start doing it without you even knowing you're doing it.
Yeah.
But if I had you, on this short period of time, because I would have to, if you consulted with me, it was something I would teach you step by step. But what I would say without a doubt is, you are talking before you know what you want to say. So what would help you is before you open your mouth, think about what you're trying to accomplish and how you're going to say it in the least amount of words as possible.
For sure, because one thing that if I find a woman attractive and she's already throwing it at me, I'm not going to come to her as a friend. That's for sure.
What do you mean by that? You're not going to come to her as a friend?
Right. So if I'm going to have a conversation with a woman that's showing interest or attraction on me,
yeah,
I'm not going to have a friendly conversation with her. I mean, I will. First of all, I'm going to look at her as a person, right? But if she's already lusting for me, then I'm not going to come at her as her buddy or as her friend. Like,
I don't think you ever should have her if there's somebody you're interested in. I don't think you should ever come to her as a buddy. But what you do have to understand that if you're aggressively going at somebody and you don't even know them, right? That means you're giving them attention that they haven't really earned.
What if, like, for instance, that it's people in your environment, right? Because one thing that I don't do, well, I do sometimes if I know I'm not going to see the person again.
Stop. You see how you was getting ready to ask me that question, and you made 3 right turns and didn't say anything yet. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
You said one thing about me, like, for instance, the people in your area, like when I speak to somebody, you spent whole sentences without saying anything. Because you're doing it
Yeah.
you're doing it stream of consciousness. It's like you're trying to. I could tell just by the way your speech patterns. You're trying to figure out what you want to say. You haven't even really worked it out in your head. So now answer the question. Even if you go off, I'm just going to point out that your questioning is without intent, right? And I don't mind it. I'm just pointing it out because I could see how if you talk to a woman, if you're comfortable with me and you're talking to me that way, if you're talking to a woman that you're attracted to and that you like, and it's transactional because you think there's something at stake, you're going to be 10 times worse. You're going to be talking a lot of words and not saying a lot of nothing. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do understand.
Okay, so now ask me your question.
How do you ask them to fuck?
How do you ask them to fuck?
She's already throwing it at you, and she's already lusting for you. And you're not cold approaching. You're choosing from the woman that have already chosen you.
You just ask. Let's get out of here. You want to get out of here? But understand something.
Yo.
No woman is, look, very rarely is a woman just gonna go, oh, I mean, unless you are like, well, you know what, even then, like, say for instance, if I'm trying to think of somebody that's a super attractive man. I mean, I'm old, but I like, you know how women talk about Idris Elba, right?
Yeah.
And women, oh, I would fuck him and blah, 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 whatever, right? Or maybe a younger Brad Pitt, right? They think of them as guys who, or even like Chris Brown, right? But understand something. They don't know him, so they don't even know if they like him. You know what they like? They like the fact that he's a celebrity. They like the fact that he's a great dancer. They like the fact that he has exhibited sex appeal when he sings his songs and the way he moves and stuff. So do you understand how much prerequisite is put in for a woman when she looks at a celebrity and goes, I would fuck that guy right now? Like, it's just not off rip, right? She's observing this dude. It's never off rip. So even if you got a girl and she meets you in the club, or you meet her in the club, or you meet her in a bar, and then she's throwing it at you, she's been watching you.
For sure. I think I know that much. Because I'm good at body language, and I've learned how to read women. Not completely, because I don't think we'll fully understand them, because we're not women ourselves, but yeah.
Well, I don't think you got to be a woman to understand. I always say this: if you want to know how to hunt, you don't ask the deer, you ask the hunter. The hunter is the one that observes what the deer does and knows how to attack, right, and to get that shot. So that's not even a, and I don't even think that's a point. What I am saying is that if a woman if she's coming up to you and she's throwing at you, she's already done her homework. She's already sized you up. She's already watched how you move. She's already checked your body language. She was watching how you interact with other people, and that is the thing that has built the attraction. Right. So what she's saying,
I do know how to recognize choosing signals for sure.
You do or you don't?
I got fit.
You said you do or you don't?
I do.
Okay, well, but then if somebody's coming at me, if a chick is coming at me, I already know that she's done her homework, and she's made her decision. The question is, do I want to indulge?
Right.
So I don't see. So you don't even have to. You don't even have to strategize. You just ask.
What do you tell them? Hey, let's go to a more private place.
Yo, let's get out of here. Want to get to know you. And she may like, hit on you and they maybe not want to get out. Maybe she don't want to just like make it happen right now, but you might have to, well, not right now or whatever, or, let's exchange numbers or let's get to know each other. And there's even ways to get around that. But I mean, you know, I can't give you all my secrets, you know, but it
No,
is,
absolutely.
there's a way, but I mean,
That's understandable.
if you got somebody who's showing attraction, they're already in.
For sure, they've been watching you. She put herself in your way. and
She's
been
already,
doing it.
there's a thing called a proximity rule, right? You ever see a girl or a guy who's real creepy and he's at the club or the bar? Women avoid him like the plague, right? But if you ever
Right.
have that situation where you're in the bar and every time you look up, the same girl, you know, she's making eye contact and she's looking at you by accident every time that's not by accident. Because if you're a creep, you won't see that girl. You'll never make eye contact with her. And she'll make
But
sure
when she
that's
comes
the
around
case.
your way and she points her tits and she points her
Yeah, there's
her
a whole bunch of
vagina
what
at
they
you,
call
bro.
in pickup artists. They say AOIs is things of attraction. It's you know, points of attraction where they're doing these things. They play with their hair and stuff, and all of that stuff is true. But I'm just saying what happens is but what I'm saying to you is, if you can't ask a question to me directly and understand, that is already, if you and I were doing consultations, that's the first thing that I would work on with you, to be able to speak with intent and control and with direction. And it all matters, you know. Like
Yeah,
there's a young dude who's a comic, and he was telling a story, and I was like, yo, lower your voice. Like, you're yelling at me. And I was like, you're not aware of that you're yelling? Like, and I'm not trying to hurt his feelings, but I'm just saying, look, you're literally yelling. Which is either what does that communicate? It's your inability to pay attention, right? Or the fact that you don't have the empathy to know that you're yelling at somebody and you're not reading the room, that every time you yell, I'm wincing. I'm like, you know? But the same thing is true if you're forming a question and the question is not clear. That communicates to a woman that you're indecisive, right? And how does a woman how does she let you lead, right? Or let you control the social engagement when you're not letting her know that you can handle it? You ever get in an Uber and the guy can't drive and he's having a problem pulling into the traffic?
Yeah.
And how does that make you feel?
Hey, bro, this fool don't know where the fuck he going. Or
Right,
what.
and you watching him every step because you're not sure. Whereas if you get somebody, oh, it's good to see you, and they pull out, zip, yo, I need to be there in 15 minutes. We're like, I got you, and they boop, 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 boop. Like, you lay back and you relax because you're giving them the energy of confidence. Make sense?
Makes sense. Because that's the one thing I learned just now from you. Because everything's a learning experience.
Yeah, I mean,
For sure, you got to be more direct with your questions.
Yes,
For
yeah.
sure.
So
No
if you don't,
hesitation, especially if you already
and that's
come
not
with
just your
intent.
questions, just everything. That's your answers as well. You ever watch Barack Obama speech? How he speaks slow and deliberate. What I want to tell you, right? Like he makes everything sound like it's important. Like there's no wasted words, which says to the people who listen to him, here's a guy who gives a fuck about me. He's listening and he's intentful and he's in control.
Yeah. I get it. Everything's with intent.
Yeah.
Looking at it from the perspective of the game, he's always playing.
But here's the real point. What is that? But empathy. So when we talk about ACE, authenticity, credibility, empathy is your ability to communicate in a way that she can accept it, to understand where you're coming from. And if you're not doing that, you're leaving it for her to make up her own decision about this, you know? And that's not what you want to do.
Absolutely not.
there's all obstacles. She's worried about, as a woman, she's worried about, is this guy going to hurt her? Is he going to essay her? Is she going to be a problem? Is he going to stalk her? Is he, you know what I'm saying? And so she's worrying about her safety. Then it's like, well, is this going to be a waste of my, secondly, it's like, is this going to be fun or is this going to be a waste of time? Am I going to be out on this date and then I'm going to be bored to death and then I'm going to have to find a way to get away from this motherfucker because I don't want to be in, you know what I mean? Like there's so much of this. There's so much that a woman is going through her head, right? And what you want to do is you want to remove those obstacles.
Right.
Okay.
So I guess I was wondering if there's like a series of codes where you get her from point A to point B and just so on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there has to be. I just don't know exactly how to present it.
Well, it's just something you got to practice. And if you do, like if you start off by laying the 5 bricks, that gives you the foundation because the first thing it does is it gives you a cross section of, of situations to look at to see how you can move, how you can actually move, you know?
Yes.
But you want her to feel as though that you're in control. Okay?
For sure, yes.
All right,
Always.
brother. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Of course, man. No problem, man. Good. Thanks. Welcome to the family.
For sure. Appreciate it.
All right.
Y'all have a good night.
All right. Peace. Maxwell just sent me $50 on the Cash App. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. That's what I'm talking about. Send me some money, goddammit.
Leno.
To accept.
What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yo, what's up? It's Leno from Atlanta.
What up, kid? What's the matter with you?
Yo, what's up, Dante? I'm good.
You sound all down and out. What's going on?
Not much, man. I wanted your thoughts on something.
You wanted to what? Speak up, bro.
I wanted your thoughts on something.
Give it to me.
So I went out with some friends who were out of town. I was showing them around the city, and we went bar hopping. We went to this one joint, and while we were there, I saw this girl from across the room who was with her friends. She was just hanging out, and one of my friends tapped me on the shoulder. He was like, yo, she's looking at you. She keeps looking at you. And there was this point where we made eye contact, and it lingered for longer than it should have. Like you were just saying to the last guy.
Yeah.
When a girl, she'll make eye contact with
Yeah.
you. So I knew she was looking at me. I didn't make the move.
You did or you didn't?
Just went around. I didn't at first. I just went around the bar, and then I went back up to her later, and I went up to her, started chatting with her. But when I went up to her, I was saying too much. Like I got a bit too nervous. I was like, oh, yeah, I saw you, and I just was wanting to. I wasn't trying to be creepy, but I was just wanting to talk to you, and I heard your voice in the back of my head just say, shut up. And I got myself together, and I said, listen, I wasn't trying to stare at you. And then she asked me, what's your name? Boop, boop, boop. And we started talking, and then her friends pulled her away and said, oh, yeah, let's get out of here. And then she just held her hands out. And I was like, what's that? What is this? He's like, give me your phone. I'm going to give you my number. I give her my number, and I kind of made a joke. I was like, you're not going to get too drunk and forget I texted. She was like, no, text me right now. I text her about an hour later. She calls me, and she says, where are you? What are you doing? Oh, I'm still out. Says, do you want to come over? I'm like, yes. Go over. Boom, boom, boom. We're together, and then...
Seleno, if you don't finish this story, I'm going to fucking sock you in the mouth. Did you get laid or what?
Yeah, I did.
All right, what's the question?
My question is, she said that she was going to be, I told her I was going to D.C. She said, oh, I'm going there next week, right?
What's the question?
My thing is, she hasn't hit me up. Do I hit her up like, yo, I want to see you?
What do you think, Seleno? You've been taking consultations with me for. What do you think you should do?
The reason I'm asking is because there are times where you say not to ask.
Not,
But I think
yeah, but
also-
y'all slept together, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so hit her up. But if you hit her up and she doesn't hit you back, right?
Answer.
Then it ain't. You know what I'm saying? It ain't happening. Then she smashed and dashed, right? Or maybe she got who knows? Maybe she got back with a boyfriend. Who knows what could have happened? The point is, if you want to, you got to understand something. You're allowed to do what you want to do. But if you have done what you want, if you're interested and you've made it clear that you're interested, that's what you lead with. If once you've led with that, if she doesn't respond, there's a reason why she responds. You and I have talked about this 100 times. There's never a situation where you call somebody and they didn't see your call. Once in a while, somebody will, like people who are super busy or, whatever, they'll miss your call or miss a text or whatever. And then you hit them back and they'll be like, oh man, I'm sorry. I owed you a call. The shit was great. Do you understand what I'm saying? But if you're just smashed, this is a situation where you absolutely, if you know when a chick is not responding and you know when it's not. Okay?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Is it? Nah, that's it.
All right, brother. I'll holler at you.
All right.
Let me see. I got this in the comments, Stefan. This is not about dating, release, but I related to self-improvement. What was your experience with CPI? I saw. Oh shit! I didn't mean to do that. With CPI, I saw you on the ad for them, and I was thinking to go fix my disc. They were really good, man. The CPI was really good. The stem cells definitely helped me out. A lot of what I would have gotten a lot more recovery if I had done the physical therapy after. I didn't really focus on the physical therapy like I should have, and therefore I still have issues. But I'm definitely in a better place than I was, and it is super expensive. It was, I think the first time I went, it was 12 grand. The second time, I think it was 20. It was like 20 grand. And I don't believe that they take insurance either. So, I mean, they might take, I don't know if insurance will cover it. So it's usually out of pocket. So that was my experience with the stem cells. Don't forget, y'all, the one-on-one consultations. I'm giving it away for free tonight, but y'all, you know what I'm saying? If you're having these issues, because I mean we all are. I mean, one of the great things about doing the live is somebody will ask a question that you should have asked or that you wish you had asked, and it kind of helps you out. So that's always a great thing because you can learn from other people. I guarantee you that the call before Selena, where this guy is talking and he's in a situation where he's just yapping and this and that and changing directions. And don't get me wrong, I understand it. It's something that we all do, but I'm just saying that is a window into our own personal insecurities, and that's something that we don't want to lead off with, you know? So the phone lines are up, 929-269-4922. Don't forget the one-on-one consultations, DanteNero.com. Click on consult.
Wood beige. To accept, press 1.
Gerard, what's going on, bro?
Hey, Dante, what's up, man? What's going on?
What's going on? How can I help you, bro?
Hey, I just want to say, man, we had talked, before I had a consultation with you, maybe like 7 years ago.
Okay.
When I was a little younger.
Yeah.
I was the guy that you had asked about the Lakers. Well, I was about to bring on my girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I'll just bring that up. Man, nice to talk to you again. But I don't really have a relationship question, man. I just listen to the calls, man, and I'm getting a lot of game from it. I definitely contribute donations and all of that, and Patreon. I just had a question about your earrings. Like, where do you get where do you get that style from? Where do you shop?
I think
it's pretty interesting.
It was really just something that evolved with time. It was just something that evolved with time, and you know, as you as you start like living your, pursuing the best version of yourself, right?
Yeah.
You get into a situation where you just something hits you and you start like like initially we like getting manicures and pedicures, getting getting the tailor when you have your clothes tailored. These are all things that you do initially because you want to look your best. But what happens is when you start to take care of yourself, you realize that, wow, I really like the fact that I take care of myself, and you kind of develop your own, you develop your own shit as you go along, so it becomes kind of a thing, and you just develop your style with time. It was just something that happened. If you go, anybody on that's on the live right now, follow me on Instagram, the Dante Nero. If y'all look on there, you can see I got a bunch of coats. Like I've had fur coats made and stuff. Just became my style, and it was just like, oh, I saw a piece that I liked and I had it made, and and then I saw another coat. Like I remember I wanted this coyote and wolf coat, and I remember I saw the coat from Batman, the Bane coat. I had that coat made, and you just with time you just learn your own styles, and you and it changes with time. So even if I think about my style some time ago, it is evolved, and so I just think you get comfortable with what you do, and then it just kind of grows with time. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was just interested because I like the swagger, bro. To be honest. And I wanted to add a little bit of that to mine, so I just never seen the exotic earrings that you were wearing.
Well, these are actually hard to get. I had a friend of mine who used to go to Ghana and bring them back for me. But
okay, I see.
Yeah, because it's buffalo horn and bone. And I haven't seen anything like it. So I have two. Like if I get something, I get a style, and I'll get a couple of them, so I don't have so I got a couple extra if this one breaks or something like that. But I wouldn't even know where to get it right now if I had to. But anything you do. Also this is a gauge. This is a 1/2-inch gauge. So the hole is.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's not. You know what I'm saying? It ain't. It's not for the faint at heart. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I get that's understandable.
But that's fine if that's what you want to do. Then you do it. You can find your own style, and if not, you can get somebody to make it. I'm a firm believer if there's something, if you get somebody to make it, then you're always in a situation where you got some unique shit. You feel me?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not taking too much time for the show, but man, thank you for that, man.
All right, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Cash at me at Dante Nero, $DanteNero.com. Y'all know what it is. Send me some money, goddammit. Phone lines is open. Let me put the phone line up again. Don't forget the one-on-one consultations, DanteNero.com. Click on consult. You know how to get me. Give you the details and get you on track. Phone lines up 929-269-4922. We're over an hour and a half. I'm getting ready to shut this down. I'll give it one more call if we get one. 929-269-4922. It's also on the bottom. Also, the Cash App is rocking. Come on. Send me some money, goddammit. 929. If not, I'm going to shut it down. Real quick, don't forget the best way to support this show if you like the game and the content that you're getting. Sign up for the Patreon, please. Patreon.com/manschool202. Y'all know other way that you can help out supporting the show. Make sure that the equipment and the technical level that we're on is right. You can always hit me at the Cash App at $Dante Nero. And don't forget the one-on-one consultations. That's always helpful. DanteNero.com. Click on consult. Or the PayPal. If y'all are international and you need the PayPal, go to Modest Guru Inc. That's how you can get me on that. Phone lines are open. I'm going to shut it down. Y'all got a few minutes before I shut this down. But I mean, I think we, there's a lot of things. Keep in mind that on that Patreon, if you are a Patreon member, you are specifically directing the direction of the PayPal. I mean the Patreon, what the shows, the bonus shows we do, because that's what we're that's where we, that becomes the inner family, the close inner family, and I appreciate that, man. I appreciate y'all's support. All right, we had 1:35. I think we're gonna shut this down, man. I need some sleep. I will see y'all Sunday, between 8 and 8:30. I'll try to get it done about around 8. Man, I always appreciate it. It was great calls today, great information. Thank you everybody who hit me on the Cash App. I mean, the Cash App is still working once we get off, so if you think this helped you, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? GYBB, get your balls back. WWDD, what would Dante do? The Sexual Revolution and be podcasting. If you get a chance, please like and subscribe on the Man School YouTube, as well as the Dante Nero. I'm getting ready to do a political podcast on my other channel and some other content. Also Instagram, the Dante Nero. Please follow me there. It's important. And I'm getting ready working on my special, so I can't wait to do that. And I'm working on the book. So, all right, y'all. Peace. We out of here.